Well, there we go. A little longer than I wanted to, but yeah, it's a beautiful day. I'll tell you, I saw them in 1971 in Houston, Texas, and it was a fabulous. Well, all right. We need to. All right, got the sound in my head. So how are you doing? It's Thursday. Good to see you. Speaking favor over all of us. And nothing missing, nothing broken. Bosto. And happy birthday, David Barry. Good to see that you're still going to be here another circle around. We love you, brother, and much appreciation to you. And happy birthday to you. Hey, Nina the Mystic, how you doing? Good to see you. Balanka, how you doing, my dear? And reality notification, I like that. How you doing? Lost in space. What's up? Robert V is in the house. Brandy, you're a fine girl. And Emperor, good to see you. And Al, as you're traveling through the great state of Colorado, next time you're through, we'll have to get together since now the world is normal again. Watch those roads up there, buddy. It's I don't like 70. Boy, you get past the Eisenhower Tunnel and yikes. But you know, with Big Al and Perry, his partner right there, I'm sure they handle the roads just fine. Hell, El Grupo, how are you doing? What's up with you? Good to see you, Robin. Hello, Marta and Heidi. Crystal Shaman, what's up? So y'all check out the eclipse today if you were in that part. Hey, Marsha Price, how you doing, Marsha? You know, I was dreaming about you, Marsha, and saw you in this weird setting. It was like there were these bottles that were set up, and I don't know, it was weird. Light was coming out from it. Anyway, how are you doing? Good to see you. We're all going to try to get together at Marsha's place, hopefully this fall. I think we're going to make it happen. Mm-mm. Dan Davis, how are you doing? Good to see you. So, what's up, Jerry Brown? Good to see you as well. David Castle, hello and welcome, Woke Dealer. Good to see you, dear. Bum, 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 ba-da-da-do-do-do. Still got that song in my head. And they were just a good group. What can I say? Kayla sent me this book, and I just got it yesterday. Kayla, I will send this back to you. This is really an old one, too. Y'all check this out. So this is Brad and Francie Steiger. Brad is a prolific science fiction writer. You see it runs in the family. Excuse me. And this book is The Startling Truth About Thousands of Aliens Now Awaking Among Us. I've been getting that sense, and it's here. When I get finished with this, I'll send it back on. And thank you. I wonder how many of us, this illusion that we're human, that we're the predominant species on the planet, that we think we own. We don't own anything. We can't defend it, even if we were challenged. But what if the greatest illusion put upon this species is to think that it is the only species, when in fact, it's actually maybe in the minority? That, yeah, they may look all like bipedals, sapiens. Yes. Crystal, to answer your question, yes. So, yeah. That's this name, the Steiger name. It goes from the star people to Lilith. What can I say? We're all in between. So what else is happening? Something to think about. I mean, I don't know have you ever thought about this? Does a spirit have the same customs that the soul was used to in the body? I mean, using the soul and spirit interchangeably synonymous to one another, understanding that there's also great distinction between the two. But however, for just simplification, we'll just accept them as both. But you think about this. So if you're a Southerner, you know, you grow up in the South, there are customs that are particular with that particular region. You hear it in the nomenclature of the speech, in the customs and the habits. So you die, you cross over. Is your spirit going to be Southern? I mean, are you going to get over there and go, "Hey, hi y'all, how y'all doing? Just made it over. So what's happening here? Yeah, y'all got a beer? Uh, I don't know. I mean, if you're, raised in the Northeast, do you go over with that Northeast dialect? The questions. Hey, Gaia, how are you and Paul doing, my dear? Much love to you, spirit woman. Good to see ya. Wildings in the Game of Thrones. You got to think about it. I mean, let's say you are Asian here, you die. Are you Asian over there? I mean, what else would you be? Think about it. Unless you're telling me that somehow this spiritual essence that, you lift out of these bodies, that they're all monogenous, they're all automatons. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. There was a book written, I guess a couple decades ago, about a woman who died and went to heaven. And as she was walking through heaven, she found there were different regions. And the angel that was there with her, escorting her through this tour, she said, "How come is there so many different um, villages?" And the angel said, "You can't put a person who was in the 1700s with a person who was in the 20th century. Nor if they're of one particular culture, they're going to be typically more in tune to the culture that they came out of. Race, etc." Anyway, thirsty. I've been outside today. It's supposed to be 100 degrees. So what's else going on? Oh, the Steiger Perspective tonight. It will be on artistfirst.com, 10 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Mountain. The theme tonight is an interesting. I've been doing a lot of research in the Midnight Oil on this one. Insurrection Act. Did he sign it or not? I'm laughing so hard in the inside, I'm choking myself. Folks, this is the most bizarre amusement park of the whole freaking universe. This planet. We are, it's weird, particularly if you are on the path of enlightenment and you understand the differences, you understand about control, you understand about hierarchies, you understand about different planes, that this is just one of countless many others. But folks, we are in one strange time right now. I mean, you get into this, yeah, Wonderland is just the beginning, because what we're in. So anyway, there we go. So, Bloodlines. Yeah. Tell you what, that's an interesting point, reality notification. Bloodlines. I've done a lot of videos on that. Going to have Judith, our good friend from over in Germany, going to have her back on. We're going to talk about more about Bloodlines. They play a major influence, and here's the deal, folks. Just because the blood may be red, don't mean they've been made here. No. It seems like, given atmospheric conditions, chemical compounds, that would most likely be replicated within the galaxy, let alone the universe, the chances are that the same evolutionary process that took place here has taken place in other planets as well, and that we would find many species, off-worlders, bleed red as well. Interesting. So sure, we're all alone over here on this planet. No one's paid any attention to it. That's what the mainstream media, that's what they teach in school. We're all alone here. Carl Sagan said it. He says there is no life but us. And I really truly wish that Carl had lived longer, because I believe that he would have changed that. But Hawkins did the same thing. He said that there's no evidence of any life, and that alone should tell us that we should become isolationist. We should become completely cut off all radio, television, any type of electronic broadcast, or put a dampening field that where it doesn't go out into the interstellar space. Because as he said, chances are, if there is other intelligent life, it's most likely brutal. It's most likely cold. It's most likely savage. The percentage that he said that it would actually be of a higher intelligence would be far more de minimis in its actuality when you compare us. If we are in fact a reflection of this panspermia that makes the universe alive, you got to ask, why are we such a savage species? Logic would dictate most likely what we see meet out there is also savage. Just some thoughts. I love this. This is a great group, because this is probably about the only type of group you could really talk this. And what I love about it is that, as a soul tribe, there are many, many other tribes out there that we intersect with. And yeah. So let's see what else. Someone's my memory says, take off your meat suit. Well, the only problem is with that is if you take off the meat suit, you violate the laws that you agreed to come into this realm. And I think that sometimes, just my opinion, that we forget that we did make agreements. We knew, for the most part, what we were getting into before we came into here. We just didn't know, is this a result of consequence, randomness, or is this by selection, design, fate, destiny? Is destiny so imprinted upon you when you're into this realm that no matter what path you take, you will eventually end up in a path of a certain predestination? I don't like to think about that predestination exists, although, as a Bible student back in the day, I can tell you it was a main theme of the Pauline epistles, predetermination. Yes. And then that gets kind of brutal, because what that says is that there are some that are going to make it and some that are just screwed to begin with. You shouldn't even came into the journey, because you ain't got the ticket, you ain't on the list, and you ain't getting on the ride. Boom. And that sucks. I don't like that. It means my life, your life, means absolutely nothing. It was all predetermined before we, took our first breath. Anyway, let's get into Paul Joe says, I choose coincidence. Oh, I see that. Okay, consciousness. Yeah, all right. Brainwashed and given a mission. Yeah, Robert, there is some to that. Yeah, I think there is. again, maybe we're all not from this planet. Maybe in the movie Starman, how many of y'all remember that back in the 80s? So maybe many of us are, in fact, the seed of the star races. My visitor told me so. Yeah, you'd be surprised. Many of us have been marked. And it's a fact. I have told you the incident that happened in my life at the age of 17, where there was a coven of Satanists, and they were going to put a bullet in my head. And as they were driving out, and those of you who live in the Houston area, it was out by heading out towards Katy. And I am, when you're sitting in between two other guys that have guns and two guys in the front seat, it's a lot of things go through your head. But the interesting thing about that was that when the gentleman in the front seat turned around and he said, "We can't touch this guy." He said, we got to let him out here. This, and he was really starting to freak out. And the other two suddenly saw there's something that they saw in my, and I'm sure it was in my aura, my spirit, that apparently there is those of us who have been sealed. We have a seal on us, one that cannot be seen in the physical realm so often, but definitely seen in those who are connected into the other realm. True story. Actually happened. Mm-hmm. So let's get into this book. This is one of I search for sources that where I love books, and there are the good books, the really rare ones are very expensive. There's a reason why they're expensive. It's because the knowledge, the gnosis that they contain is not for the everyday person. And I used to fight against that, but I have resigned myself to this. Most people don't want to know this knowledge. They don't care to even hear about it. And they have absolutely zero interest in it at all. And that's just how it is. Hey, Deborah, what's up, dear? Good to see you. So let's get into this one. I found this jewel, and it is a jewel. This is called The Book of the Old Ones by Scorpio. It's a collection from the sacred magic.com. Check it out. It's in their esoteric library. You will have to pay for it. But email me. So in here, we basically get into the whole secret of magic. Then chapter 1 deals specifically with who are the old ones. When you get into necromancy, it's people kind of, again, because it's been painted through over 1,000 years as you are to fear this. You're not supposed to know this knowledge, because if you know this knowledge, you won't be, let's say, allowed back in the circle you came out of. It is a great book. I want to get into, and as you can see, it's not a very long one at all. Listen to this. There is a power older than witchcraft and greater than magic that we can use to draw things down from unknown places and call forth forces from outside the spheres. I am Scorpio, and this is the book of my knowledge. You will find mysteries in its pages. And oh, that's a freaking understatement. It is written for those seeking knowledge of older things. This is the testimony of all that I have seen and all that I have learned. For this is the book of the old ones. The old ones were, the old ones are, the old ones shall be. In the dimly understood by science area of magic, which you are about to explore, the old ones equate to the elemental forces of earth, air, fire, and water. In the first part of this unusual book, you're going to learn how to bring the surging powers of the old ones into your life. In the pantheon of the old ones, there are 6 primary beings: Azal, Hoth, the primal chaos; Yog, Sothoth, the all in one, and the all and the one in all; Otep, the god of 1,000 forms; Hastor, the voice of the old ones. I believe this is Shatlu, the lord of all magic. You can call on this cat. Yeah. Serb Nigaroth, the black goat of 1,000 young. I love these names. The name of the, and I believe I got this right too, is the Chatluth. The Chatluth is pronounced Kutalu. So I was even wrong there, see? With the emphasis on all 3 syllables. Kutulu. Let's remember that. Well, it was in the movie Beetlejuice. Kutulu, Kutulu, Cthulhu. It says that if you say the names 3 times with the intention of invoking, you start making the connection. The power of the old ones has been used for centuries under different names. At the root of all magic and witchcraft is the power of the old ones. Unfortunately, over the centuries, the basic principles of contacting the old ones have been elaborated into such a mishmash of weird theories, strange ingredients, and complicated ritualistic disciplines that the original concept is virtually buried in it, like the proverbial needle in the haystack. In this book, I have stripped away the accumulation of nonsense and gibberish that has kept the arcane wisdom from the ages from being used properly, and presented it, and presented what I believe are the fundamental truths in terms of magical practice. It is my belief that once you bring the old ones into your life, opposition is overcome and problems go away. Sometimes only the simplest methods are needed to do this. A single word of power can be effective in some cases. Miracles are yours. Yes, this magic can work miracles. I sought the intervention of the old ones at the time in my life when I knew only the profoundest depths of despair. Witchcraft, magic, and occultism were what I sought. I reached back through the years to study the secret lore of other worldly beliefs and superstitions, and the mysterious rites and congregation of age-old powers from the beyond time and space. At first, it seemed my pleas had gone unheeded. Then slowly, I became aware of something very subtle, ancient, and powerful hovering in the air around me, and came to realize that all I had desired was becoming mine with little effort on my part. I had called to the old ones at the darkest hour of my life, and that call was now being answered. Marvelous water heal me spell cured Fong Wai and his headaches. Fong Wai was a successful Hong Kong businessman. He was everything in the world that he had ever wanted except freedom from pain. Fong had suffered from migraine headaches for as long as he could recall. He would have an attack about every 10 days, and they would last from 12 to 36 hours. They suck. The only thing he could do was to go to bed until they passed. Fong was wealthy. His many companies made money without effort on his part. But his wealth meant nothing. He was often heard to say, "I would give every dollar had I have to be free of these terrible headaches." Fong had suffered head pain so long he was just about to give up all hope of ever being pain-free. He had tried everything from acupuncture to severing the occipital nerves in his head. Woof! But he continued to be plagued by the painful migraine headaches. Luckily, one of Fong's employees was a student of mine and contacted me. I flew to Hong Kong and met with Fong and his wife. Together, we worked the marvelous water heat me spell the first night I met with him, and he never had another migraine attack. This true case history is an example of the amazing results that you can expect from the spells and rituals of this book. The Dream Quest of Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft, the pulp magazine writer who died in relatively obscurity at his early age of 47 in Providence, Rhode Island in 1938, made no secret of the fact that much of the inspiration for his stories of the old ones came from the curious dreams that plagued him for most of his adult life. In the dark abyss of sleep, the old ones reached out to us. They give knowledge of their worship. Of his stories, Lovecraft once wrote, "All my stories, unconnected as they may be, are based on the fundamental lore or legend that this world is inhabited at one time by another race who, in practicing black magic, lost their foothold and were expelled, yet live on outside, ever ready to take possession of the earth again." Imagine taking Lovecraft's experience and let's just reposition this. Are we talking about something that was here, which appears to be the ancient one, the older ones, the ancient ones? So, and this is just my thought, they may in fact be the true heirs. I mean, whatever they did, they apparently got kicked out, but by whom? We'll find out. Um, the stories came to me through what did we say that's the word was? The Cthulhu, yeah, okay, mythos. For easy references, from now on, I will refer to these stories by the term the mythos. Whenever you find the word the mythos in the text, you will understand that this refers to, again, the Cthulhu. Another important ingredient in Lovecraft's fiction was the necromancy. From now on, a magical volume filled with myths and long forgotten magical formula. You know, David Barry, that would be a good show to do. Yeah, got his books. So anyway, written in Damascus in the 8th century by Abdul al-Hazred, the Necronomicon is mentioned more than once in connection with the old ones and their calling. In chapter 1, you will learn how to create your own personal Necronomicon in which to record the wonderful life transforming effects of the magical spells and rituals revealed in this book. Told you this wasn't like any other book. It's interesting. We're going to have fun with this. The powerful secret formula given here are designed to allow you to magically smooth your path through life. Until you become practiced in the art of calling the old ones to you, a spell or ritual may require more than one application before it produces a result to your satisfaction. You need no special clothing, candles, magical circles, incense, herbs, or any other hard to obtain occult paraphernalia or complicated preparations to work the unique magical system in this book. Also know that the many rituals described in chapter 9 require you only to enter any room in your home and speak a single word incantations to the four quarters. What could be simpler? The sensual you are mine ritual helped Paul B win the love of a beautiful girl. Okay. When he met Paul B, he was desperate, nervous, a frustrated young man. I soon discovered that much of his discontent centered on the fact that he was nursed, that he was nursed an unrequired love for the new secretary at his workplace. Never good. Never play in your own sandbox. For several weeks, he had been trying hard to become friendly with her, but because he was only a junior clerk, she had been totally indifferent to him. Nothing worse than indifference. Either hate me, love me, but to be indifferent, that is one level below contempt. Anyway, I gave him the sensual you are mine ritual, telling him to keep in touch. Next time I met him, a beautiful blonde was clinging to his arm and following his every move with loving eyes. She was obviously deep entranced by him and had been and that had done wonders for Paul, no doubt. He was no longer the desperate and nervous young man I had spoken to less than a month earlier. He said, "It worked," he whispered to me while the lady was absent from the room. I repeated the ritual for 5 days, one each day, and on the 6th day, she smiled at me. The next day, I asked her to join me for coffee. She came along willingly. And would you believe that the previous snooty girl was gazing deep in my eyes, hanging on to my every word? This is one of those ethical situations that, I don't know. Is the person here, the woman, is she under a spell? Because it would seem that would not be her natural nature. That's the problem I have with these type of spells, and I know that they work. You don't need magic. There are so many out there. They're just master manipulators. They use it as many times psychic vampires are the true manipulators. And I don't know. Tell me your thoughts on this. I mean, do you find this? And they said that Paul and his lady are now happily married and are expecting their first child. So maybe she was willing. I don't know. It's one of those things in there. We never talk about the efficacy of magic. And there is. Maybe for a later topic, right? This magic is real, not fantasy. If you are serious about wanting to transform your life, I strongly suggest you read this book through to the end. When you have read and absorbed the contents, you will be ready to start your magic work. And before we go further, let me dispel a misconception. There are those who would say the old ones do not exist. They are a mere work of fantasy, a parlor game designed to amuse the gullible. This is not true. The old ones do exist and are the real path to the real meaning of the real truth. Call to them and see the fantastic results. Scorpio. Oh, we still got a little bit of time. I'm going to continue to reading. Chapter 1, The Secrets of the Necromon. The Necromon unlocks the gates to another dimension, to another race of beings. It tells of an ancient time when an earlier race superior to man inhabited the earth, and how, and with certain rites and incantations, this race, the old ones, can be brought back. The Necromon also relate how the Cthulhu was taken by the elder gods, whom he had defiled, and placed within a stone tower that rose above the sunken ruins of the Arlek in the nethermost depths of the eternal sea, and sealed within by the elder sign. he raged against those who had imprisoned him. And for this, they descended upon him a second time and imposed upon him the semblance of death. I mean, boy, you let your imagination go wild. What a time, right? And when the stars were right, the Cthulhu shall be freed from the Arlek and embrace the earth and make it his kingdom. And with his return shall the old ones defy the elder gods anew. So we got a lot going on here. You got the elder gods, you got the old ones. So seems like, are they of the same species? Don't know. Seems like it though, doesn't it? The old ones are grateful for our worship. Now, that word worship, I don't think it means to literally bow down before them. I mean, to focus, to have concentration is a form of worship as well. But that's just my interpretation. You have your own. For it affords them an opening through which to come forth into this world. This is what we were talking about yesterday with Jenny. The rabbi's prayer, the Hebrew prayer that was designed and meant to open up portals. And isn't it odd that we have this book that's not even related? Yet this is exactly what they say. The old ones are grateful for our worship, for it affords them. And now let's take this into the modern context of the Abrahamic belief systems. You see, I contend when you have 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion people who have mentally focused in on an unseen deity, but yet are focusing worship, praise, and hymns is exactly what they've done. That's why this one particularly is here. They've opened a portal that they keep opening. We got to close that portal. I bet some people are going, anyway. It affords them an opening through which to come forth into this world, and in calling down an old one, a covenant is formed. He who is called must do the bidding of those who caused an opening to be formed. Folks, go back in the archives when I did the whole series on Solomon's magic. The whole necromancy of Solomon, the whole foundation of Solomon is this: if you know the name of the god, you control that god. So let me ask you this: why would a god, let's say Yahweh, want his name to be known if he knew that if you knew that name, that you could control him? And in fact, if you read much of the Solomonic spells, that's exactly what you do. You conjure Yahweh and you bind him to do your bidding, along with the other 72 high-ranking angels, demons, however you want to look at it. Maybe these are the old ones. I don't know. The old ones once walked where man now walks, but were cast out by the elder gods and sealed away outside of time in space. They are in all places and all times, ever waiting for us to speak the words that shall establish an opening through which they and their servitors. Now, who is taught on servitors here? Might want to go back and reread that material or listen to the podcast. And their servitors may be called. In the spaces between spheres of existence, the old ones walk, sleep, and wait unseen for the time when the stars are once again in their proper places. It is then that the Lord Cthulhu, the sleeping god and Lord of all magic, shall awaken from his ancient slumber to reclaim the kingdom that was taken and release those who are bound. We're bound. Yeah, man, this is good coitus. I mean, this is good mind coitus. This is good stuff. A different kind of magic. Having introduced you to the old ones in true Lovecraftian style, let us now proceed to bringing their influence into the 21st century. You may have expected that at this stage you would be told to obtain mystic robes, magic wands, bat wings, eye of newt, and cauldrons, or to indulge in blood drinking and human sacrifices. Such occult paraphernalia and activities are not only out of date, but also totally unnecessary to bring the old ones into your life. The first step is to find a place where you can create an opening through which the old ones can be called. The old grimoires, handwritten books of magical lore, were more specific in what they said about the art and practice of magic. Dark forest, secluded caves, abandoned ruins, or upon the seashore beneath a full moon were considered as ideal places to work magic. You do not have to do anything so elaborate. Some space and a few minutes of your time each day is all that is required for you to work magic. Preparations are simple. You just need to ensure silence with no interruptions. First, make a physical space to stand in without being obstructed or cluttered. That means that when you stand at the center of your cleared area, you can stretch your hands and arms all around you. Do the 360 spear. Y'all know that exercise. I hope you do. The sign of the elder gods. The sign of the elder gods, the elder sign, is a magical tool used by both witches and magicians to keep mischievous forces at bay. In the distant past, the elder sign represented man, the 5 points being his head, 2 arms, and 2 legs. Inverted, it became the symbol of the Shub Nagruf, the black goat for 1,000 young. 5 points being 2 horns, 2 ears, and the beard. Gradually, the true meaning of the elder sign vanished into the mist of time to be replaced by the pentagram and Baphomet, an idol with the head and feet of a goat and the breast of a woman and the wings of an angel. Here now is a ritual to align yourself with the magical power of the old ones. This requires only a few minutes of your time each day in privacy. Dress in your own individual things when working this ritual, but it is important that you feel comfortable. In this way, you can concentrate on what you are doing without distraction. You should work the spells and rituals that follows in this manner. Stand in the center of your cleared space. Face the northern corner. This old one manifests through angels and the corner of the room. Okay, so you stand in the center, face the north corner. The old one manifests through the angels in the corner of the room. Angles, excuse me. Trina was talking about angles. Isn't this curious? Close your eyes and take 10 deep breaths. Visualize Shub Nigroth, the black one, the black goat of 1,000 young, directly in front of you. Shub was worshipped by the ancient Greeks as Hecate and by witches as the Great Mother Earth. Shub should be visualized as a cloud against a background of fertile earth, from which hooved feet and long tendrils protrude. In the sphere of the elements, Shrub is assigned to the element of earth and astrologically to Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. She is a goddess of fertility and all material things. Say or think, if you may be overheard, I call thee, Earth Mother, to assist me. Remove the image from your mind. Turn and face the east corner. Visualize Hastur, he who must not be named, directly in front of you. He should be visualized as a great luminous mist against a background of the sky. In the sphere of the elements, Hastur is assigned to air and astrologically to Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. He has influence over protection and offense, revenge, and destruction. Say aloud or in your head, I call thee, he who cannot be named, to assist me. Now remove the image from your mind. Turn and face the southern corner. Visualize Yog Sothoth and all in one and one in all directly in front of you. May I suggest that you draw these out? We may be able to find good representation for each one of these. Probably be a good idea to have them on the floor around you as you're doing this, just a suggestion. He should be visualized as a mass of iridescent spears floating about a fiery volcanic landscape. In the sphere of the elements, Yog is assigned to fire and astrologically to Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. He has influence over prophecy and secret knowledge. Say or think, I call thee, keeper of the gate, to assist me. Remove the image from your mind. Turn and face the western corner. Visualize Cthulhu, Lord of all magic, directly in front of you. Lord Cthulhu should be visualized as an octopus-headed humanoid. Lovecraft has a lot of these, probably work pretty well, against a background of the sea, with bat-like wings and claws. In the sphere of the elements, he is assigned to water, and astrologically to Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. Lord Cthulhu has power over spirits, magic, ghost, emotions, and all the occult powers. Quietly say or think, I call thee, Lord of Magic, to assist me. Now remove the image from your mind and face north again. Recite the following invocation aloud slowly with feeling. In front of me is earth energy. Behind me is fire energy. On my right side is air energy, and on my left side is water energy. These hands, this mind, and this body shall be channeled through which these energies can flow. Now stand quietly for about 2 minutes, letting your mind wander as it will, then open your eyes. For easy reference, think of the point where you open your eyes again as the calling in the ritual. I shall be referring to the calling later in the book. The instructions will say, carry out the ritual of the old ones in the calling. And this tells you that you should prepare for the ritual and say the words as explained from the initial instructions up to this point. From this point in the ritual, you always begin to cast a spell or other piece of magical working. While you find many different spells and rituals in these pages, they cover every possible need and desire. Your initial tasks are behind you, and they get no more difficult as you trend further along the path to the old one's embrace. Unlike ordinary magic, there are no white or black magical workings to be found here. The old ones exist beyond our concept of good and evil. The principal invocations and incantations, spells, and rituals of this magical system can be learned, mastered, and used by anyone willing to make the effort and under the correct conditions. Works every time without fail. Isn't it odd, folks? We're here virtually every day, Monday through Thursday. I'm going to get back into the Fridays. And isn't it odd how I marvel at this, that when we begin to address a topic, inevitably I am channeled to where I need to go to find the next step of the books. And as you can see in this book is exactly what we were talking about when I was talking with Trina and even yesterday with Jenny. There is that place, folks, that is above the concept of duality. If you're stuck in the duality, that's a real problem. You got your feet still in the quicksand. If you can rise above the fact that there's neither good nor bad, there is not evil, there's not holy, it's a construct. And if you can rise your essence above that, I'm not saying it's easy, but begin to get used to it. Yeah. He says, if your doctor advises you that deep breathing is dangerous for you, or if you're at any time the magical become dizzy or see spots, then don't do it. But there is a way that you can learn to breathe. They don't teach that anymore, but yeah. Practical and physical emotions, sensations of contact. Here you should know about different sensations that often accompany the calling of the old ones. I mention it because you may be worried by it until you are told it is perfectly normal. You may feel a tingling throughout your body. A strong itching or tickling may begin on your forehead, well below the skin. These are all signs that your call to the old ones is being answered. Before you have been doing it for a full week, you may become aware of unseen forces following you as you go about your daily affairs. You may also find that certain hitherto suppressed desires and impulses that you have come rushing to the surface during these initial stages of contact. These feelings and desires are the old ones freeing you from the chain of servitude imposed upon you by misguided beliefs in the right and the wrong. You should, if you are confident that such actions will not involve you in legal entanglements, give free rein to those desires and impulses. You can be confident that anything and everything that happens to you during and after the ritual are for your benefit. Using the power of the old ones to magically smooth your path through life. If you have diligently studied and practiced the ritual of the old ones and understand the elemental and astrological associations, you are ready to assimilate this arcane knowledge into a powerful magical working. This advanced work is suitable only if you have developed a harmonic relationship with the elemental forces of the old ones. If you have succeeded in calling forth those outside, if you haven't, back up. Don't go any further. You can get yourself in a situation that could require some getting undone. So learn the technique, practice it, print it out, memorize it, and then when you actually activate it in your private space. Enter your cleared space and work the whole of the ritual of the old ones. Next, face the northern, southern, eastern, and western corners of the room. The direction that you face will depend on your desire. Take 3 deep breaths right? And as you finish taking the 3 breaths, visualize the old ones appropriate to your desire directly in front of you. See it as clearly as you can. Imagine you have bathed in its power. Try and actually feel this power circulating within you. At this point, you must get involved. Take a mental trip and show the old ones in pictures, words, and gestures what must be accomplished. Once the ritual intention has been completed, say a simple thank you to the old ones and go about your daily affairs. Repeat daily until the ritual draws your desire to you. Working the ritual of the old ones is simple and effective. That didn't hurt a bit, did it? Naturally, the printed page can give you a little idea of the powerful forces called forth from unknown places during the ritual of the old ones. Certainly, as you become more adept at performing the ritual and working with the old ones, you will feel their awesome powers flowing through you. And you may actually begin to see the old ones you have called down from between the spears. A flash of light and spear of iridescent colors. As previously suggested, to build up the power, you should work the ritual once a day. More often than that is undesirable. The calling of the old ones should not be taken lightly or for granted. That's a warning. They'll spank your ass if you are in any way not taking this completely serious. And you don't want those type of energies around you because you've insulted them. Also, you will bring much quicker results if you work to achieve only one particular desire at a time. When it has come to pass, you can then move on to another one. By now, you will no doubt have decided what areas of your life you wish to change. Read the various spells and rituals in the following pages and decide which one you will use to bring money, love, power rushing to you. And folks, let me just say this. You should add wisdom. If you're going to create a spell or do a spell, and particularly where the old ones are concerned, make wisdom your first priority. You will be elevated in their sight above all the others that have ever called upon them. Don't have any idea where that came from, but listen to it. The cult of the old ones, and we'll get ready to wrap this up. Whatever you are trying to accomplish, you know that the job will get done much more easily and efficiently if you can call for assistance. If you can find others of like mind to join you in your magical workings, you can greatly increase your chances of success. The more who worship the old ones, the greater the power involved. Keep quiet about the cult's activities and benefits that are coming to its members. You will find that most people outside of the cult will be scared out of their wits by it. You will be glad you kept your mouth shut. And that's where we'll leave this. We're almost into chapter 2. All right, I'll finish out. You have read the Necrocon, the ancient handwritten tomes containing the magical spells, chants, incantations, and other magical lore of the old ones. The legend of this highly sought-after book survives to this day. You are going to write your own Necrocon to assist you in all your magical ventures. Your personal Necrocon, your servitor, will be of great benefit to you in the future. Any notebook will serve for your personal Necrocon, although you may wish to purchase something more ornate for this important occult tool. Your first entries in your Necrocom will consist of brief records of your desires, the magical formula used to obtain them, what happened during your magical workings, and any feelings or sensations experienced during the ritual of the old ones. Your personal Necrocom is secret. No one else should ever see it or read it without your permission. It is your private record of your contact with the old ones, and you should keep it locked away from prying eyes. I keep mine in a memory stick. It's password encoded and encrypted. And this is probably the one place that I see most people fail. I'll stop right there. I don't know who's all still on board, but whoa, this is some heavy stuff. Love it. But, you know, I have told you before, and keeping your journals, some of you do, and some don't. It's not a, requirement. But it's fun to go back. I occasionally will do videos of myself to send myself messages in the future. And it's quite interesting to see what happens. But yeah, if you want the book, I have it on PDF. Again, let me just say this for my personal perspective. I know these beings exist. I've known this probably all of my life. I've told the experience I had with the first out-of-body experience I had while under influence of LSD. And they had to call the paramedics to get me to breathe again because I was gone. I was out there. And I met these beings. I knew them from very early in my life. And throughout my Christian experience, it's interesting because it's like each of us have to go through our own paths. I went through mine. The majority of my life was spent in that. And and this is what I do now is, it wasn't, they were keeping the knowledge away, and the knowledge that they were given was highly controlled, highly programmed for a specific response. Well, that's the problem. And so in this day and age where we have left the old age, the time of when these religions were made up, is past. And the time is now for us to begin to look at other paths, because those paths led to only one place, death. So there has to be an alternative. These ancient ones, the old ones, I believe that many in the path of their choosing have met them as well. Who knows? Maybe Lilith is actually one of the old ones. There definitely seems to be a correlation of an existence of beings in here that were far superior to us. We weren't even here yet. We didn't even exist. The books that I'm reading, particularly with the ETs, they say the same thing. There was a time when no man walked this earth, and yet this earth was highly civilized. It had a culture that was of advanced technology. Something happened. I think we're seeing some of that story. And my goal when I bring these books out is to, all right, I'm going to explore. I'm an explorer. I've gotten myself smacked a few times on the other side. It taught me a lesson. On the other side, folks, it's not what you've been. If you're under this belief that it's all fairy tales and puffy clouds and unicorns and, oh, you're just going to be floating around, you're in for a rude awakening. It's brutal over there. It's dangerous over there. And if you don't have your shit together here, you're going to be a victim over there. I'll guarantee it. Hey, Steve. Excellent. Steve, I've got to get you on. I think that this is right up your alley as well. The ancient ones, the old ones, they're here. They always have been. And I have this sensation within me that they're excited about this broadcast that's gone out, that thousands of people will hear about, will bring a new awareness, and it will begin to prepare your personal adventure with these. And if you want to call them spirit beings, that's fine. They're just another species for me. I'm still trying to figure out what species I am. But I'm taking it for granted that I am of a species, right? Anyway, man, I've really gone over. All right, everyone, this has just been freaking far out. Yes, it does. It keeps you on your toes. You got that right, Scotty boy. Uh-huh. I tell you what. And again, if you can approach this and understand and get above the duality, because you see a creature that would be so reprehensible in the physical appearance that you immediately assign it as evil, you see, you're conditioned. It's very difficult. Excellent, Steve. We'll do one on Lovecraft. Maybe we'll get a panel put together, heck, a round table. That would be excellent. Yes. Lovecraft, I think this could begin. I think maybe this group is ready to really get into now with Lovecraft's drawings. He was there, where they were over here, one of the two. I'm convinced that that's exactly what he opened the portal, and this is what he saw. Okay, Janie, I will. Marvel's The Eternals. Okay, cool. All right, everyone. This has been far out. I mean, I love it. We're going to continue to get into it. We'll pick up on Monday, because this is an opportunity for, maybe this might be just the beginning. And if other channels will pick this up and start talking about it, yeah, this is going to affect change. All righty, all of you beautiful people, y'all groovy. I love y'all, and thank you for hitting the like button, and I think all of your subscribers. So, but thank you all. It is an honor to share your time, and it's something I do not take for granted. So, Danielle, you're going to love it. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the Insurrection Act. And by the way, I will tell you of a very high witch in our government that most people have no idea that the person is a practicing witch. Now, the magic that they practice isn't exactly the kind that I would recommend, but yes. So yes. So BOSTO, everyone, and be good to yourselves. And we'll talk to, who knows, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not saying I've got things I have to do, but who knows? All right. In the interim, much love to you all. Thank you. And favor be upon you all. All right. See you on tonight on the Artist